So let's begin. Belle lives in a small city where everybody thinks of is sex. The young and the older have great sexual expectations, and there is nothing concealable about sexual life in this community. Belle is a girl who loves music, and she enjoys playing the violin. She removes herself from her community's act to put herself into practice to ensure she reaches her goal at the movie's beginning. Belle and her boyfriend Hendrik stay under the tree. The boy forces his mouth into her mouth every second as he licks her from her head to her mouth. She pushes back for a while and he stops. He tells her he has a gift for her and he brings out a musical book. He knows of Belle's love for music and he rightly assumes that will be the best gift for her. She collects the gift from him and appreciates him for his gift. He starts kissing her again and then uses his hands to touch her lap and breasts. He eventually tells her what he wants. He says he has given her a gift and she has to give him a gift in return. He takes her to the room where he starts touching her and her lap. He succeeds in putting his hands into her skirts and touching her private part, but she still isn't interested. He brings his body nearer to her and puts his private part around her mouth. He tries to use her hands to remove his trousers and at this point she can't take them any longer. She tells him she needs to go to her practice, and she leaves. Upon getting home, Bella keeps practicing for her goal. She receives a phone call at that moment and the caller tells her she has been accepted for an audition into the musical college. She is so happy to hear this and she goes to her sister Tara. She shares this good news with Tara, who tells her she is happy for her. Then she asks for their mother. Belle goes to find her mother and she sees her mother in the pornography room where she is directing a pornography movie. She calls her mother's attention and when her mother comes out she tells her she has gotten an audition. Her mother is happy for her. She hugs her and says she will speak to her later. Her mother returns to her directing room later. Belle picks up her violin and goes to the school where she practices. She enters her practice room where she starts playing before her tutor Mr. Wolf arrives. Wolf asks her when she arrives and she happily gives Wolf her audition letter. When Wolf reads it he asks her if she puts in for the audition. She notices he doesn't look happy for her and he tells her she will be competing against talented students. Belle reminds Wolf of his popular word that practice is better than talent and says she can get it done if she adds more energy to her practice. She starts practicing and Wolf looks at her in displeasure. He tells her she needs to put emotions into her music and he instructs her to let things flow and the lyrics will come in after his correction. She tries it again but he still doesn't like this. He couldn't hide his opinion so he tells her she should let go of the audition. He says she is doing a great job by playing for her personal pleasure and she doesn't need the audition. She leaves in pain and when she gets home she calls her friend Yuxi who is at the music school and tells Yuxi of Wolf's words. Yuxi tells her she also fumbled during her audition and Belle shouldn't think everyone else is better than her. Instead she should put more energy into her training and she will find out everyone is just like her. Later Tara and Belle go outside to spread some clothes. While they spread the clothes Tara keeps looking at Hendrik, who is cutting some trees by their side with his chest open. Tara looks at him in admiration and asks her sister if they will attend the school's graduation party that evening. Belle says she has things to do and doesn't think she will be interested, but Tara tells Belle not to be a showstopper and asks her to come. Their mother comes to stand beside Hendrik during breakfast. Her mother speaks to her about Hendrik. She asks her what she is doing, but she refuses to have that conversation as they eat. Tara comments that she heard Hendrik's stick is curved, and she wants Belle to confirm it. Belle looks in disgust as she continues her meal. After the meal her mother comes to speak with her. She tells her life isn't all about violin and despite how much she is interested in violin she still needs the other experiences of life, especially the sexual experience. She tells Belle not to hide from her sexually and says she is free to bring Hendrik into the house and they can do anything they wish to do. She tells Belle about Karen and her boyfriend but Belle says she isn't interested in all of it. That night Belle and Tara leave for the party. During the party Tara keeps dancing and rocking every boy around and drinking without limit. Meanwhile Belle is with Hendrik. He offers her a drink and starts kissing her. He reminds her of his gift and tells her he would like to get his gift that night. He asks if they can leave together but she refuses. He tells her she is scared and she also tells him he is drunk. She leaves to use the toilet and when she comes out of the ladies' room she tries to find her sister. She can't find Tara in the party hall so she goes outside to find her. She finds a crowd gathering around a particular spot and when she goes nearer she sees Tara having sex with a guy. She struggles amid the crowd to get to the front and when she gets there she sees Tara having sex with Hendrik. She is heartbroken and pained. She walks home mindlessly and the following day at her chef work, her boss screams at her too. She drops her apron and resigns from work. She eventually travels for her audition despite Wolf's advice. As she gets towards the venue, she sees 3 boys struggling to carry a keyboard. She goes to join them and she helps them raise it while sharing eye contact with one of the boys. She goes to register for her audition and the guy also comes to the receptionist. He wishes her the best of luck and she sits to clean her violin. Uxie comes to meet her. They hug each other. Soon after, Belle is called for her audition. She goes there feeling very scared. As she starts, she gets nervous and plays badly. She apologized and fortunately they had to go for a sound check. In the dark corridor where she sits, a random man comes behind her and starts touching her. She grabs him and they have intercourse. She goes for her play again and she plays marvelously. After the audition, she meets with one of the judges. He tells her she has been considered for the second round and gives her his card telling her he could tutor her. She goes to stay with Yuxi. She plays the note she played during the audition for Yuxi, but Yuxi says what she heard was better than that. When they go for laundry, she tells Yuxi about her strange sexual experience before the audition and they consider if having sex with strangers will help her. The following day she hires a male sex maid, John. After John does his acts, it doesn't move her and she doesn't enjoy it compared to the strange man. Later she goes to the judge Vincent for the tutorial. He asks her what she feels about the song. He insists she must connect to the song on something more personal before she can play it well. She thinks about what is good and she plays beautifully. As she plays, he keeps touching her and kissing her ears. They eventually finish the training and she goes home. She returns home and plays the violin for Yuxi, who notices she is doing well. Now Yuxi takes her to her training group where she meets one of her colleagues, Jessie. Upon getting home, she asks Yuxi if Yuxi is in love with Jessie and Yuxi tells her she doesn't have anything with Jessie. One night they both attend the party with Yuxi's colleagues and during the party, while they are all drunk, she and Yuxi start kissing. They continue and they get home. At home they have intercourse and Yuxi is so excited. The next morning Yuxi wakes her up happily, but she tells Yuxi that she thinks she is in love. She tells Yuxi she is in love with Jessie, but she doesn't think Jessie will still want her after seeing what she did with Yuxi the night before. She goes to the training room to find Yuxi that day, but she meets Jessie. After singing and playing violin they kiss, but Jessie stops her. He tells her he can't do such with her as he is Yuxi's friend. She returns home to Yuxi, who refuses to open the door. Yuxi opens the door, crying. She tells her she doesn't want her in her house again. Belle leaves without knowing what to do. She returns to the training center and she sees Jessie with a girl. She lodges in a hotel where she calls Vincent and asks him to call her. The next day she goes for the second round of her audition. She meets with Vincent before the audition and tells him she wants to play well, so Vincent should help her. He starts kissing her and when it is her turn to play, she enters to play. She qualifies for the final stage. After her audition, Jessie meets with her and tells her they should celebrate it together. As Jessie leaves, she goes to Vincent to appreciate him and they end up touching each other and having sex. Jessie coincidentally enters and he walks away immediately. She figures she has no reason to keep staying around, so she returns home and she returns the violin to Mr. Wolf, telling him she is giving up on playing violin. Tara and Hendrik are still dating and she tells her mother she wants to go to the sex room. She enters and watches the men having sex and she leaves the room and her mother figures she is unhappy. She explains what has happened to her mother, who asks her to call Jessie. She calls Jessie and although he doesn't pick, then she goes to his studio. She meets UX. Either they reconcile together and Yuxi tells her Jessie is in the inner studio. She goes to Jessie to apologize, but he doesn't answer her. As she is about to leave, he asks her if she will attend the final audition. She asks if he will give her his violin and he borrows her. She prepares for the audition with Yuxi and Jessie and on the day of the audition she does great. She passes the audition and she makes out with Jessie. She relates it together and finds he is the one from the first audition day. They kiss and romance and the movie ends. So I hope you enjoy the video, so click any video of 3 of them and enjoy next, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the like button. Thank you for watching. See you soon.